On the banks of a small river in central Bosnia, an unlikely battle is playing out. Here, from a small hut, a group of villagers keep watch, ready to physically stop any construction vehicle that tries to cross their bridge. For more than a year, dozens of neighbors have taken turns at the hut. To pass the time, they knit, smoke, socialize, and sing songs about their beloved river Kruščica. Mika T-Bolt is a leader of the protest.
We've been here for 15 months, for 24 hours a day. Men sleep here while women stay here during the day. These women are either retired or housewives. All of these women come here and spend some of their time here.
The bridge they're protecting is the only way to get to an area upstream, where local developers want to build a dam for hydropower. The Bosnian government granted permits for the project despite local plans to designate the area a nature park. And twice the villagers have jumped into action to stop the investor from breaking ground. This past August, excavating machines tried to cross the bridge, but the villagers turned them back. And in 2017, the police even violently broke up their protest, says Amila Zuka.
The police arrived around 5 a.m. when the morning prayer had started. Some women couldn't finish their prayers when they attacked us. The women sat here and we linked arms. They started hitting us, pulling us from each other. That morning we were defending human rights, the right to live. We were defending this water.
Activist Viktor Bijelic is fighting against hydropower development in Bosnia. His organization is advising and raising funds for the villagers' lawsuit against the developers.
2 hydropower plants planned here in Kruščica, on the Kruščica River. One of them is planned here, which would flood all this area. This is a picnic place, and it would be flooded by the dam, but downstream river would be totally dry. Actually, these 2 hydropower plants would work simultaneously. So basically, the whole riverbed would be dried except these small accumulation lakes, which they need for the electricity production.
These are mini hydro plants that will destroy our little rivers from which we drink. There are other renewable energy sources, but it seems that they focus only on this. One person benefits and everyone else loses.
Hydropower project development in the Balkans is soaring, with 2,800 new projects planned, a third of which will be in protected areas, according to a coalition of international environmental groups. They range in size. Some will dam major rivers. Others will be like Kruščica, or so-called mini hydropower plants. Bijelic says 300 of these dams are planned for Bosnia, and that just about every river in the country will be impacted. Besides providing a source of drinking water, the river here is central to villagers' hopes of reviving the local economy. This bucolic town and its waters were once a famous destination for vacationers.
The future of this village is in tourism. We had 3 hotels. Now we only have 1. 2 were completely destroyed. I think that there will be investors who would like to invest in those hotels, and that all the villagers would benefit. That would be much better for everybody. Tourism and recreation is the only thing that would revive this village.
Bosnia is still recovering from a brutal ethnic war in the 1990s. 100,000 people were killed and millions of others were displaced. This area of central Bosnia saw fierce fighting. People did return and rebuild, and the country today is at peace. But infrastructure is still poor and the economy is struggling. A complicated, ethnically apportioned government results in debilitating bureaucracy and endemic corruption. The Bosnian government hopes the export of hydroelectric energy will boost the cash-strapped economy, and is providing subsidies to developers. And meeting international green energy goals could push the country one step closer to finally joining the European Union. Western European banks are funding many of the projects, although their own countries are actually reversing their positions on hydropower, according to Bijelic.
The European Union countries are coming back to the position. They are removing dams and they are giving more spaces to the rivers, trying to bring them into the natural status. We have natural status in majority of our rivers. So why should we do the same mistakes what European Union countries made?
And Bjelic says that while it is important that Bosnia moves away from its dependence on coal, hydropower is not as green as people think.
Bosnia-Herzegovina is a country which is very rich with biodiversity, and we can say that Balkan Peninsula actually is the wilderness of Europe and Amazonia of Europe. So we can count dozens, hundreds of species which will be affected by the hydropower. We have to turn to the real renewables, which is solar and wind power.
But the push for hydropower continues. A few hours away from Kruščica, another town is beginning a protest of their own. Developers backed by a former NBA player have just begun construction, and the villagers worry their farmlands will be destroyed. In December, after 16 months of protests, good news did come to Kruščica. In response to the villagers' lawsuit, a court annulled the investor's construction permits, ruling that he didn't properly consult with the public before obtaining them. The villagers have closed the hut and returned to their homes, but they say they fear construction could still begin illegally at any time, and they remain on guard.
My mother raised me here in Kruščica, where I had a beautiful childhood near the river. Now I'm a mother, and I want the same for my children and for all children.